Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie, Violet Vixen Commissaro, and
I'm Jessie. Welcome back, guys. We are so happy to be here.
so tonight we have a legendary rock star with us whose voice is pure gold. With vocals that soar like an eagle, he takes the stage by storm. All I have to say is things are about to get Beissel. Hey, Danny.
Hey, what's up, Allie? How you doing? How you doing, everybody?
Wow.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It was a nice intro. Thank you. Jeez. I was like, who's she talking about? Oh, my God. Thank you. It was very nice.
Yeah, we like to give everybody their own little intro and like
things are going to get Beissel. Yeah, that was I think there's like a magnet or something going around with that on it.
I'm sure there's memes and Tumblr.
I made it to the meme stage in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a little bit of everything with it.
Yeah, right. I'm a meme.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
How did you get into the music scene? Like, let's take it all the way back. And how did you discover that you had pipes?
Well, it's interesting because I never considered myself a singer, really. Like after high school, I mean, I was a loose cannon back then. I didn't, but I always kind of found myself like singing a little bit. I remember like the first song was literally like the House of the Rising Sun from the Animals version, though.
Yeah.
And that's what I started like leaning towards it from what I can remember, and it's ironic because I got into acting back in 90, what the hell was I started? 93, I think it was. And studied that. And I guess I was always an Elvis fan. And I remember seeing, make a long story longer, remember seeing like a scene that Elvis when he was young, it's in the new movie, the scene and everything. But I think it was Forrest Gump I was watching. I remember seeing that scene. I was like, no one does the young Elvis.
The other day. I was really surprised. Like I liked it.
It's great.
I like the new Elvis movie.
Yeah, they finally did a good job on doing an Elvis movie. And so I kind of approached it like that, which is kind of interesting, almost like a character, because I was studying acting at the time and I literally taught myself chords and stuff like that. I was like crazy, like up in my room for days and stuff. But I'm glad I did. I wish I had that. I could have bottled that motivation. Yeah. And
what are some of the things you did with acting?
I did a couple plays. I did an independent film up in New York. There's a scene. I actually did a film in Philly that I had the lead and I did the music for. This is when I was getting into the music. It kind of all meshed after I used the acting to get the Elvis down. My first band was called the Elvis Experience. It was like a rockabilly band. That was rad. It was down on South Street. That was great. And remember Swing came in?
Yeah.
Remember the 90s? Swing came in for like 2 days. We used to play down at Dobbs. That's where I started. It was called the Pontiac Grill, though. And so it was kind of like my bass player. We had the upright. I mean, we literally captured that was my whole point, to capture young Elvis. I had short hair with the two-tone shoes. I wasn't really trying to like imitate him as much as like capture just figure out the character of it, capture the essence of it, like what made the man tick. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But it was cool, man. And it was like, so Swing came in, so we were playing every Monday night, breaking the records. I was like, what the hell just happened? It was cool, it was my first thing. I was like, wow. And so the Swing thing helped, and it was fun. I did that for a couple of years, and I played Graceland. And that's after that, I was like, kind of like, where else do I fit? Now what? And that's when I met, kind of through that, met Brian Quinn. Brian and he really got me into the original scene, to be honest with you. I mean, I had like one song under my belt, but I wasn't confident about being a songwriter or anything. So I met Brian and we start, really doing it, like up all night writing and rehearsing and writing. We were like, man, and that formed FosterChild. And so, I kept writing after that. So
do you know how many bands you've been in altogether? Because you've been in quite a few and like performed with people for a period of time. So
Yeah, no, I got lucky with all
Consider
that.
part of the band if you've performed at least, let's say, more than 3 shows with them.
With who?
If you have performed more than 3 shows, then you
Oh,
get
okay.
to consider
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
part of the band.
Well, I always play with like makeup of bands, like, after FosterChild, I got, we got signed and it was great. And then there was a lot of ups and downs. We had to leave the label. It's a whole stuff
Yeah.
you don't see when you're that kid looking for a record deal. You know what I mean? It's like the downtime. And so it was pretty gnarly. And then Brian and I decided to disband the band for a while. And that's when we did our own thing for a little bit. I started playing with a band called American Vinyl, which I still play with, and Brian got Candlebox.
Mm-hmm.
So us taking a breather was very interesting. And but we always still stay in contact. I've been talking to him lately a lot, actually, about doing some stuff. And but some of the bands, I guess American Vinyl, I had a band out here with a couple guys from the band Train, Scott Underwood and Charlie Colleen. Still working with Scott a little bit. Yeah, I mean, through American Vinyl, I was lucky enough to play with, my God, some of the biggest musicians. I mean, because we would always have a guest star, like Cliff Williams from AC/DC. I'm singing 3 AC/DC songs with this guy. I'm like, oh my God. James Burton. I mean, I got to play with Elvis Presley's guitar player, the guy that wrote or plays on Suspicious Minds. So that was a big one, obviously, after what we just talked about. That was a big one.
Did you really step it up for that show and really
I mean, I know, and it's like I'm very lucky that I'm grateful that I get to play with a lot of just like some of heroes of mine, like from the '70s rock. I mean, that's where it's at, like from Skunk to Barry to Mousy to Leroy, the main guys in the band. And so when James was there, I was like, oh, this is a whole new level of. It wasn't like nervous, but it was like, dot your I's and cross your T's. Yeah. But I'm always like that for those shows because it's very high energy from singing Boston and doing all that. I have a routine. It's very specific before I take the stage with those guys. But of course it does. It's James Burton. I played with Elvis Presley until he died.
Now,
so that was really cool.
That was a big one. 100 Elvises.
The Night of 100 Elvises. That's a charity. That's awesome. A charity down. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It sounds awesome.
Oh, it's incredible. So that's a charity I started doing I think it was 2001 or 2. I think it was 2001 I started doing that. And that's a charity that's down in, where is that? Baltimore. And I don't know if you guys know John Hopkins Cancer Research for Children. Yes. So that's a big charity for them. So they have this big hall downtown Baltimore, and the Lithuanian Hall is what it was called. And it's so rad. It was like 3 tiers. I mean, they'd have spotlights, they'd have old cars, and people would dress up in 50s outfits. But everybody had to do, you could, any way you wanted to do it, but it had to be an Elvis song. So you had Night of 100 Elvises. There was 100 performers. But we always had a blast because you get to go, for a couple of years, we would go into the hospital, play for the kids, but you got to be careful with that because if you had a cold or something, these kids. Yeah. That was really glad I saw that part of it, but it was very sad because sometimes you go back the next year and a couple of them won't be there. But you need to know what you're doing for a charity. I think it's important to know everything about the charity that you're working for, because when you hit that stage and after you saw what it's about, it's just a little bit more from the heart and stuff.
How important it is.
Yeah. So, but not too diverse. Yeah. So I did so many versions of that. I did it by myself, did it with me and my brother, just playing a snare. And then I start doing it with one of my best friends who's no longer with us, Evan McAdams, one of Brian and I's good friends. So FosterChild played it. But usually at the end there, I just stopped doing it probably 3 years ago. Literally, that's how long we've been doing it. A couple times couldn't make it because we were on the road and stuff like that. But anytime I could do it, I did it. But it was a good one. So it was always me and Brian the last couple years, probably last 6 years or something like that, with whoever, Evan, my buddy Evan. But yeah, that was spectacular. That was cool.
Okay, I was gonna hold out until a little later in the episode, but I just can't.
For what?
With everything going on with the Octane reunion that just happened, and
I heard about it.
Landron posting that he's going to be doing some reunions coming up.
Yeah.
What's going on with FosterChild? Are we getting a reunion? What can you tell us?
I mean, I could tell you that we're talking about it, I guess. I talked to Brian. Brian's got some time off with Candlebox, a good amount, a couple of months. He was on the road for a while there, so I guess the guys are taking some time off. So, yeah, we talked to Bob because they had I heard that show. I was a bummer because I really wanted to make that show, but
it was
I'm out here. Yeah, I know. I heard it was amazing. They sold it out.
Yes, and I mean, like, it was an experience. Like, I had never been to the Landis, so like I had no idea what to expect walking in. I mean, just the love that was in that room was just amazing. It really was.
That's so great. I was really bummed. I really wanted to go to that. Great band, killer band. I mean, they owned this area for so long. It was great. So on the FosterChild note, yeah, I mean, I would love to do it. I think we can do it. And, of course, they do the Octane. All the juices get flowing, So I mean, is there still FosterChild fans back there that would want to see a show? I guess that's the question.
There definitely is.
Absolutely.
So many people have asked, like, even because, like, some of my friends couldn't make it. They're like, did they say anything about FosterChild? Did you hear anything? Like,
oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, shit. Well, this is the deal. So, I don't want to speak for all the guys, and I don't want to say anything to get myself in trouble from them because it's all four of us, not just me. And I would definitely do it. I talked to Brian, and I talked to Bob. Actually, I talked to all the guys. We were just talking about some stuff, and we had music that we didn't release yet. So my deal is, if we do it, I'd like to come out with some music, some new music.
Oh, that would be so exciting.
Yeah. At least a couple songs, but I don't know yet. I'm not saying we are. I'm not saying we're not, but I'm just, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying what I would like to do if we, what was that, Jess?
It's exciting stuff is what you're saying.
Yeah, now I'm getting excited. I mean, I love the band. I love those guys. I love the music, obviously. I mean, so I assume we would do some stuff from the first record, second record. And for me, it would be, if we were to do it, I would really, my picturesque way to do it was to have at least an EP of music to introduce. So I don't know if I kind of scurried around your question pretty good. So I'm looking, if there,
I'm letting it sink in.
I can't say there is right now. I can't really say there is, but thank you for asking. That means you guys dig the band. So yeah.
Oh, it would be
so where? Let me ask you, where would you would want to see it if it were to happen? The Landis is what you're saying?
I mean, they Octane just
is it a good theater?
There, so I mean, let's keep with it. I mean,
all right, that sounds easy. It's an easy move in.
I like that the Landis has the seats and they're like comfy seats. Like, I like that. So yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's that. Well, on the FosterChild note, it's definitely being talked about. It's definitely being talked about in a positive way, and it seems like everybody's, if everything works out with everybody's schedule, that everybody's kind of pumped to do it because we FosterChild
Sweeney's out there.
What's that?
I would have even thrown Sweeney's out there, but I don't think Sweeney's could hold the people.
Oh, what was that place that we used to? Everybody used to play across from Sweeney's.
Whiskey Tango.
That'd be great. Is that
it's not even there anymore?
Oh man, that would have been a spot.
Before I go to Sweeney's, I'm like, man, the Wawa's not there. It's all
really.
Different. Oh, it's all different.
You move away for a little bit, everything changes. Jeez. I do miss Wawa's. They don't have Wawa's out here.
Down there too, and then everything was different. I'm like, and it's like a little mart across the street. Like, yeah, very. It's different from.
Change is the only reality.
I always looked for the Wawa, and I knew that Sweeney's was right there. So, like, the first time that we went back to Sweeney's, I'm like, Wait. Where are we? Because like
That's right.
with
That Wawa's
Django,
not there
like,
anymore.
what?
I know what you're talking about now. That Wawa's gone.
Yeah, not there
Wow.
anymore. It
I used
moved
to
down further.
I used to be a landscaper years ago, and I used to work all up in there. Funny. Big mower.
Fun spot
Right.
to be around.
The number one thing I would miss are like hoagies. Not even the cheesesteaks, just like the cold cuts. Because
Oh man.
a good hoagie. Like
I know, and it's funny because I start to think about that, and there's just not out here. I mean, you got tacos out here, mainly everything's Mexican food, which I like, but
I
yeah.
asked somebody who moved, I was like, what is one of the number one things that you miss? I was like, is it the cheesesteak? Is it the hoagie? What is it? They're like bagels. And they're like,
Ooh,
they were like,
bread.
Don't have the bagels are not the same bagels.
Bread. You can't, it's like try to make a cheesesteak out here. It's the bread. It's really in Philly or I guess the East Coast, the bread's just so much better.
I thought that was interesting. I never thought of it. I was like bagels? I was looking at them anywhere. I'm like, no. Not like I was like, not like that good like homemade bagels. Like,
I know you get me hungry, man.
Sorry.
I need a bagel. I'm hungry for a bagel and I can't get one.
Get one? No, it's the worst.
Like Laguna Beach doesn't have bagels. Well, they do,
but
they're not.
To like send them over to you.
I know.
Yeah, please. But you know what we could do though? If we do the show, we should have the band on here.
Absolutely. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that would be cool. We could set it up. Since we're talking about it, we're the first one talking about it.
Oh, I just can't even wait. Like,
I would love to do it. I miss those songs. I'm sorry.
I ended up missing you last time that you were in town when you played with Camille K. I was heartbroken, but I was doing a show. You were Camille K.
Oh, with American Salvage.
Yeah. Yeah, I had missed that show when you were here. So I'm yet to see you perform live.
I know. What's going on? It's I feel like I know you so well because we're always kind of talking. Going back and forth and stuff. So yeah, we got it. I think I'll be home. I think I'm coming home. I'm coming home for a bit in February. So I'll be home in February for a bit.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So I'm sure I think I talked to Brian. I'm going to try to book something with him or something like that. So, I mean, it's not going to be a FosterChild show in February. I'm sorry.
Your birthday's in February, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, wow. I thought from before. I thought that our birthdays were around the same time.
Yeah, because you're when are you? You're coming up.
Yeah,
you're the 10th.
Yeah,
you're an Aquarius.
Yep.
Ooh.
I'm a Virgo.
I
decided this year because my son's
surrounded by Virgos.
Are you?
Yeah, I got a lot of Virgos in my life. Very interesting. So that's another show.
Yeah.
I decided this year I'm planning on having like as much fun as I can on my birthday. My son's birthday is on the 6th, so we've decided that we're going to Dave and Buster's.
Ooh.
And
awesome.
just unleashing.
Is that down in Delaware Ave, right?
We haven't decided which one we're going to. Everyone keeps asking us.
One up. Yeah, that's right.
There's one up above us. Then there's one down near, it's either Oxford Valley Mall or Franklin Mills.
Franklin Mills.
One all the way down. So
Franklin Mills. Dang, that's still a mall. Remember that? Like first came out, it was like
Meeting. It might be Plymouth Meeting. I might be totally.
Oh, there is one in Plymouth Meeting.
Yeah, it might.
Oh, is there in the mall?
Yeah, it's like the only thing I know in that mall. I think there's a record shop called like the Rock Shop, and it actually like it fucks. Like I'm in there, like I'm scooping through. I found some.
Wait, in the mall?
Yeah, it's called the Rock Shop.
Plymouth, I used to live there, I think. Yeah, Plymouth with John McNutt. We used to go to the mall all the time. The Whole Foods has a bar in it.
What?
You know the Whole Foods in there?
Yeah.
Well, I used to throw parties on the rooftop. It was funny. Me and John used to do it anyway.
That's wild. But yeah, there's record store.
My drinking days.
And
they used to be fun.
Yeah, they used to be fun.
But that's cool. I didn't know they had a record thing in there. That would have been nice to know.
Philly's losing a lot of like really cool stuff. Like we just lost Vinyl Altar, and that was like your metal, like it was metal specialty. Like if you just were looking for like just straight metal vinyl and no like fluff or anything like that, you would go. And they just went out. They're like closing their doors, so everything's 20% off. But I am so sad because I'm like, that was just like, now when people come to Philly, I don't know what to tell them.
Well, this is the good news, and I mean this. It's like, thank God for guys like girls like you, the people doing this, because it's funny. I was just talking to my brother Pat a little bit about it. It's like, somebody's got to keep it alive, because I remember when I was a kid, I could look at, I don't know, Robert Plant and be like, or whoever, U2, Axl Rose, like, we always had like a rock and roller, even grunge, Eddie Vedder, it kept going, and now it's like, where's our badass rock and rollers? So I love that you guys go out, because I see you, Allie, and you go check bands out and stuff. That's what it's all about. Remember the days just going out to original clubs and you didn't know who was playing, but you were looking for something.
You know what? I've had so much fun the last year, just going to all the different things, and some like I went into it just to see one band and ended up falling in love with another band that was there. Like, it's just, I love it.
It's going out to see. I got really lucky. This was really cool. It was a buddy of mine had tickets. It's this little theater, and I should remember the name, but I don't. It was right up in Hollywood or LA, somewhere up there. And my buddy brought me up, and it was like, I think the theater holds 100 people, and Beck was doing like acoustic.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, so he got me tickets. It was a really cool show. And I was more turned on by the opening act. I found the girl, and like, it was this girl that came out, Waze Blood. It was the weirdest name. Was it Waze Blood? Something like that. And she had, I think she like did a tour with Lana Del Rey or something. But it's just funny. I'm like, oh my God, Beck. And I was more like, after the show, I was like looking more about this girl, because she did this one song and it was beautiful. Like the changes she was making. So that is the important part, is to get out there. You don't always, you got to know what you're going out to hear and see. That's the fun of it, man. Go out and find it.
Yeah.
And I think we lost the sense of that
there, like when the opening acts are coming out.
Yeah, it's important. Thank God there's people that still, you know what I mean? It's like,
I always just go see the opener.
Yeah, because that opener is hungry. You're going to get the best of them. Any opening I ever did, I knew that I had to show something within that little bit, and I knew everybody's there to see this band, but what can I do? Yeah. And that was the fun part. Like, how can you turn these people on real quick? And they don't know who you are, this and that. And you got to trust your music and
It's fun too, seeing that like a couple of the bands, like they were playing smaller venues, and I've just seen them grow so much, and now they're playing like with bigger name bands, like playing lineups, and I just sit there, I'm like, this is great. Like, I saw you when you were like just getting off the ground, and now you're like doing these like huge things. And I feel like the bands right now, for the most part, they just enjoy it. Like, at least the ones that I'm around, like, they're enjoying it again.
Yeah.
Like, for a while it was like just all about like the hustle. And now
you're more right than you know, man. And it's like, you're right. It's like I'm trying to think, like, because FosterChild was really, like, I never thought about being like an original band, but like, it was like, I never saw that coming out of high school, and it just all started happening. And I'm glad, it's kind of cool. I was like, you're just waiting for something to happen. What wave you're on? And like, that was the most exciting time of my life. Who are we opening up for? We get to open up for, great bands and crock rock. Like, that's how you build yourself as a band. It's so important, those opening. That's why I love to see opening acts, because I know it's going to be high energy, and these guys, it's cool. And that's like, it's so important, because, Elton John opened up for somebody,
Yeah.
Yeah. So did Led Zeppelin.
And
so
even kind of like the bands, like, I've watched a couple that, like, I actually had to go back and watch them again, because like I watched them and like the sound was off or whatever was off
Yeah.
and it was out of their kind of control. But like I needed to see them again. Like there was something about that I'm like, you know what? They had so much passion, even though I could not hear them right. Like, let me go to a different venue and see them somewhere else. And like these bands, they have been really impressive. Like I've just seen some really cool, and they're breaking all sorts of genres too. I mean, like, I love it. I personally, I love that because
Well, it gives hope, and it's
I
like
love
rock and
all
roll's not going to
different types
die.
of music.
No, absolutely not.
In whatever version, heavy, lighter, it's rock and roll to me is when people always ask what my record is, I'm like rock and roll. I don't know. It could be rock pop on this song. It could be bluesy on this song. But like, and you're right, Allie. I do see it. It's like, because it's funny when we watch all these Marvel movies and all like these movies or anything. It's like, look at the commercials. They're playing More Than a Feeling. Like you can't get away from that timeless music.
Yeah.
And it's like, where do you go from here? So these new bands, and I have been seeing it. I've been seeing it out here too. Like a lot of cool bands coming out, like rock and roll making a way back. And it's funny because out here I've been catching some bands with a wicked 80s vibe. And it's cool. It's funny because Cali's got a cool 80s vibe in their music. And so it's cool. It's nice to get back out and see live bands. Because
we were actually saying that the other day. Like there's a couple bands that we have coming up that they give you that familiar like sense of like the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
But they've literally just taken it, twisted it, and like resent it out into the universe. And I just love it. I do.
Yeah, I mean, I always say this. It's like, you'll hear people say like, well, they did that. Yeah, it sounded great from the 80s. But it's like, I mean, at this point, man, if I hear it, it makes me feel good. I don't care. Like,
I'm hearing like a lot of genre mixing and I love it. Like
yeah.
I've been listening to
Oh my.
I'll be like listening to like a death metal track and they'll have like a jazz section in it and I'm like, it sounds amazing. It's experimental as hell. And just like the fact, I feel like it's fresh. It's coming. It's like, oh, it's fresh off the press. I'm like, oh, there's so much creative energy going on like currently. And I'm just like living for it. People are pushing the envelope.
I dig that. I know what you're talking about. It's like, and that's what it is. It's all, what would David Bowie do? That's exactly what he would do. It's where do you go from here? It's like, so you got like, and the cool thing is that your instrument, will tell you, like because someone's going to do it wrong. Yeah. It's going to be awful. Either like some rap you hear. There's some great rap, man, like Tribe Called Quest, Cypress Hill. I know it's way back in the day.
I know,
but there's like, yeah, it's like your body will tell you, man. Your soul will tell you. Like, and there is some people doing that, Jess, what you said, and it's really cool. Where this whole jazzy, like what? But it makes sense, it's done like it was cool, Like, and I do love that. And it's funny because I was just talking. I'm doing an acoustic album right now, like a unplugged kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. My buddy Stevie out here, because I didn't know what to do after. Because I do have a bunch of songs like band songs and that I want to get to recording.
These for Featherborn or
I don't know yet. That is yet to be determined. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I was talking to Brian, so when I meet with him, I'll figure out if we want to do something together with him, or I just have ideas. But I had these other ones, and Stevie's like, because I just did the Featherborn album, which it's not, FosterChild was very high energy rock, and Featherborn is very, it is what it is. It's me now, and I was like, to follow it up, and he was saying an interesting thing. Like he said, it's just let the music die down with all the computer generated shit, and he's like, let's bring it right back to voice, guitar, soul. And I was like, wow, that's a great choice. What a great choice to do after a record. Like, can't go bigger than it, so you just suck it back. And I'm just going to release like an EP of just acoustic songs I had, and then reevaluate my next move, I guess, whatever that is.
Yeah, like people are really like up in arms about the AI and like the AI like digital making songs.
That's why when in doubt, it's like it's just drop back to a primal state of you can't lie somebody sitting on a microphone looking at you singing from the heart. So they can't, unless you're watching and it's some computer generated, but I don't even know that. You know what I mean? Though, like just get right back to the basics, So I don't know.
Tracks are just so aggressively overproduced. Like I have some friends show me music and they're like, you're gonna love this song, and then I'll hit play on it. I'm like, this sounds like it was completely written by a computer. Like it doesn't, like it is just aggressively overproduced. It like leaves like a taste in my mouth that is like artificial, and it's so mind-blowing like that, like because it's rock music. I'm like, I don't understand. Like
the flaws in the personality is what gets me.
Yeah.
So like I just feel like with the AI, and I'm sure there's some people that can play it off great. I mean, that can go up there and like
you put it this way, to simplify it, we're human beings, and that's taking the human aspect right out of it.
It doesn't have soul.
And your instrument is telling you that. That's why you're like, it's not even that it sounds wrong, it feels wrong. Like it's like there's movement in a song, even if you're using a click track, drummers will play behind it. There's a human thing to it. So yeah, that computer stuff, it's like, could be the cause of the insanity going on in the world. No one's speaking from the heart. It's all this computer generated bullshit.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Like,
I mean, I'm not saying it's all bullshit, but
I don't think it's all bullshit. Like, there's definitely like there's space for everything. But at the same time, I don't have to like it. That's what I always say.
Well, it comes down to what is music.
Yeah.
It's something you listen to make you feel something. So, generated by another human through either their vocals or an instrument. So that's the form of it anyway. And when you start getting into like pushing a button, there you go. Like it's just wrong. You get turned on by a robot, man.
Right?
I need a human.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like the direction music's just been going in general, but I feel like like we've said, there is a lot of like people coming back. Like there's a lot of, like everything's like the state of death metal is like current, very like everything's 90s, and then the state of like, and then new metal having such a revival and stuff like that. I feel like we went in a direction for a certain amount, and now we're kind of
new metal. They're just like crushing that. Like it went from being like this like little box that basically like Limp Bizkit like led the way to now all of a sudden like, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I know all sorts of bands that are mixing like saxophones and the snake charming. Like
I think it is very interesting, especially like I feel like Limp Bizkit, like the nostalgia factor, and a lot of older bands are just like huge resurgence. Like Deftones is like, I did not foresee like how like Deftones is making like such a huge revival, but I also think a lot of it is they have so much shoegaze, like such a shoegazy like dreamlike like sound to them that I feel like is also helping with like the new metal almost. It's very interesting. I'm like over here.
Yeah. The metal scene's still hot, man. That ain't never going away, man. I'm never going to see.
Now, Danny, is there anything that you haven't done yet that you'd like to try and experiment with in the future, whether it be an instrument or a genre that you haven't really like
explored?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. It's a good question, actually. I was thinking getting into more kind of I was actually going to talk to this DJ. There's a DJ I was talking about here. I won't say her name. I'm sorry?
You're going to start rapping?
No. I was going to start morphing some songs into like a nightclub DJ, like Blush, like yeah, maybe, you know, something.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I was talking to her about doing that, maybe. Because out here, you know, I went to a couple of things up in LA and or Hollywood up there, and they had these DJ nights are like insane. And you're up, and I was up on stage with them just to get the experience was really cool. My friend hooked me up and got me backstage. So you're on stage. It's not like a band. It's like a DJ booth. So it's cool. But like, and you know, if it did happen, we could do stuff like that, and then I would come up and sing the part as it's being, you know, do guest appearances like that. So that's kind of the newest thing that I've been working on trying to get into. So I guess that's using my music that's already done. Besides that, I was more thinking, to be quite honest with you, I was
but that's a really cool idea. Like, I'm all for that.
Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, if you get it in a nightclub, it just expands your.
Oh yeah.
You know, and Blush would kind of be that song, the single from Featherborn. I see that working in that scenario, but we were going to take a look at the album and figure something out. I like to do some duets. I want to get in a couple duets. I have a couple people in mind out here. I actually was thinking about getting into acting. There's a couple. I might be my buddy might put me in this film playing a cowboy or something, man.
Full circle.
So I was like, go back. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's interesting. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like one day at a time for me. And I've been thinking of, it was interesting you said instrument, because I just got a piano or a keyboard, electric keyboard. I want to get back into, because I used to play piano a lot. I played a lot with FosterChild too. And I just haven't been playing a lot of it. And that was my biggest writing tool. So I'm looking to get back into that and like really get into it and do some shows with playing piano. I never did like a whole show where I played piano. It was always like a song or two. You know, I was never confident enough with it. And it was my first love as an instrument was the piano, definitely over the guitar, because guitar was just easier too. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
no, that was I'm still trying to like think in my head of Blush like turned into a dance song. Like
it would work. I went over it. I was thinking, we were talking about it for a while, but I kind of had some personal stuff over the last 4 months, for 6 months, and kind of took me out of the game. So I'm just getting back into getting things started with career-wise and stuff like that. So kind of caught me at a point where everything's a little up in the air, but in a good way, not in a bad way.
So we like to kind of ask, what is behind the name Featherborn? Where did that come from?
Well, that's a good question. I was in Nashville doing the record with, I did the record at Blackbird Studio down in Nashville. So Scott Underwood, he drummed on it. He also produced it. So he would always like be texting Charlie. Like we stayed, Scott had a condo down there. So we stayed at the condo, and every day Charlie and I would meet Scott at Blackbird, and we just start our day and everything. So we're always, you know, texting, because Charlie and I were always together. And so he kept calling, what the heck? He was just in the texts. He would keep saying weird names, Star Child or something to Charlie. And I have that tattoo.
Oh, I see.
Feather. And I was wearing this shirt where your skeleton was feathers or something like that. And so it was in a text message. And this was like at the end of the record, because that was supposed to be the band. Me, Charlie, Scott, that was going to be we were, you know, real life gets in the way. Things happen, I guess. And so we were pretty stoked, because it turned into me doing a Danny Beissel project. And I was like, you know, I'm a band guy. I love bands, you know. I mean, I just love the whole idea of having a band and everything. And so it kind of, in the text message, it said, whatever, Star Child, whatever he said, and it said, and you too, Featherborn. And I was like, can it be that? And it stuck with me for a couple of days, and I was like, damn, could it be that simple? I never heard that word before, Featherborn. It was just it's
definitely a cool name for a band.
Yeah, and I really thought about it, and it's funny because, as usual, I always run a lot of stuff by Brian, Brian Quinn. Brian, what do you think? Brian gives me old. That's a great name, man. Gives me old. But before that, I just thought like it really reflected on the music. Like if you listen to the record and you think Featherborn, it kind of just, it's very melodic-y, and it made so much sense that I don't know, I just loved it. So now the album's called Featherborn.
Do we think if you do end up releasing the songs for FosterChild, like doing the other, like we'll call them the lost tracks?
The lost tapes, lost tracks.
Is the Key West song going to be part of this?
Ooh, how do you know about the Key West song?
We talked about it before. The last time you were
on. Yes, we did. We did.
I got to hear like a small part of it.
I love that song. It's
I'm waiting for more. I need the next verse.
I have it written somewhere. Hold on a second. You're just taping this, right? You can edit and stuff.
Every time we see you, I'll just get another verse from you.
Lost my wallet. Oh, I can't remember. I lost my wallet, lost my phone. You know, it's funny. I was like, I literally finished the lyrics to it. Because I was like, this is going to be, and I started like, because it was a joke. Obviously, we were all smashed above Jimmy Buffett's place in Key West. FosterChild playing Jimmy Buffett's place. That was pretty funny.
Almost feel like that would be a great way to just wrap in the show.
You know, it's the guys would do it. I mean, it was us that were there. I never thought of that. That's a great idea.
That would be so fun.
People, and the people that were there would freak out if we did that. No, a cup of coffee.
Now, is that the only song that you made up about an experience like while on tour?
What's that?
Are there any other songs that have like been created from stories from you being on tour other than the Key West song?
Oh yeah. Do you know the FosterChild second album with Don't Let Go? Is it Don't Let Go? No. Jesus, I can't remember our songs. You know, the second album we did, it was like 6 songs. Anytime. After the Fire album.
Okay.
It was like it was our second release of an album. It was a new version of the band with Bobby and Mike. And there's a song in there called Anywhere, Nowhere, something like that, I think it's called. And that was about Brian and I. Yeah, actually there is a lot of songs about that. So we were on tour with Tantric. What's that? Yeah. You out? Okay. I'll see you later. Sorry, it's my brother. He was leaving. And so the bus broke down. We were out with Tantric. We were in LA. We were playing on Sunset Strip at the what was it called? The Key Club, I think. And so the bus broke down, and me and Brian were like calling the label, and there was a nightmare. We're trying to get them to send us money. We're stuck in LA. And we weren't sad about it. We're on Sunset Strip. So Brian and I literally took our bags off the bus, walked up Sunset Strip to the Rainbow Room. Brian's like, let's just hang here. It was like 2-for-1 Coronas or something. And he had a credit card. We had some money left on it. We were swinging for the fences. And then our buddy Marcus from the other band, Tantric, came through and he hooked us up and he had us a place to stay. So that song's all about that. It says out back of the rainbow. So that whole song was about that. It's one of my favorite songs off that album too. I thought that was cool. So that one, After the Fire, it was me and Brian pretty much after obviously every leaving the record label, leaving, Kevin and Eric. So that song's kind of self-explanatory. Yeah, I mean,
a way to get you guys all on together because before we were missing Brian. Like,
we were. That's right. We had Mike. That's right. Mike was wasted. That's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but
you know what? he was on point because I had said to him, I was like, can you tell me some stories? And he came on and he got
he came right in.
He's like, you wanted stories? I'll give you some.
He was hysterical. Mikey was good. That was funny. But just to answer that, so a lot of times it's like there'll be a specific thing like that. Basically wrote that song, that whole, maybe a couple other things. It was over a 5-day period, and Brian and I wrote that about that. But like a lot of things is like I'll piece together. You get it from everywhere. Well, I do, like all the time, like a situation on this tour mixed with like a night we went out in Philly or something. A lot of times, sometimes you just make it make sense because it's fun. You use your imagination with. I like to mix real life with imagination when I write. It's my favorite way to write because I wrote some stuff about my father and everything, and that was something I needed to do. That was real life stuff, but like, that's cool too. If you could do it, you're doing it for, obviously maybe I needed to do that for whatever reason. But like my favorite thing is you play. I mean, we're little kids, right? Like, come on, man. Like imagination. I love using my imagination mixed with reality. Because then it's like you get you can make that reality fun, I guess. If it wasn't, I don't know. But yeah.
So do you have any shows coming up even out there? Because we have following, like people follow the show from
all over
East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, I'm right now. Like I said, I just came off a gnarly couple months of some personal family stuff, and right now I'm just setting all my ducks up. I got a couple places I'm doing Danny Beissel Featherborn shows. I'm looking at a place in San Fran, place in Santa Barbara, place in LA. So that's what I'm working on right now for me, setting it up, getting musicians and stuff like that. I'm hoping to get that January. I'd love to get that before summer, like, probably not March, maybe like in April or something. And I got some American vinyl shows. I don't want to say it because it's not written yet, but there might be something in September in Philly open to the public.
Now, didn't you have another band that wasn't American vinyl, but it was American something?
American Salvage.
American Salvage.
That's on hold right now. That's me and Scott's band.
I could not remember the name of that band. Like
I know, it's like American Salvage vinyl.
I even asked John, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't remember the name of it." I'm like, "Oh man, like it's on the
American Salvage." It's kind of on hold right now. We don't know what's going on with that. But we still supposed to do some writing. He's got his whole garage set up. So Featherborn 2.
So right now you're really doing like the Featherborn thing and American
right now
vinyl?
I'm just doing it all. I'm kind of just like I definitely obviously the most important thing is to set up my own shows, push the record, try to get the radio, whatever that is. There's still a radio vibe in places. Radio still works and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like pushing your song on the radio.
Yeah.
So that my main thing right now is that getting those shows, but I don't have any dates locked in or anything like that. I've been talking to the venues and stuff like that, so it's all ready to happen. Just I don't have anything concrete. I mean, as of now, looks like I'm coming to Philly for February to work on maybe some of that FosterChild stuff we were talking about, and I got some other stuff I'm doing at home. So I'll be home for a bit in Philly. I'll probably book some shows there, I assume.
I love that whenever any of you, and I mean like all the members of FosterChild, you mention FosterChild and they all smile. Like you guys are just such a fun group.
Yeah, it's a great band. I mean, when you're in a band with your bros, it's like, I've been lucky. I count myself so lucky. I know so many bands don't have that. And, we had it in the first, with the first FosterChild lineup. But this, in the second one, like, Bobby and Mike, God, it's like we hang out with them. So it's kind of like that just made sense. It's a shame. It's a great band, and the music's great. It was just things just happen in life, and you don't have any control over it. But look, we're still talking. Look, we're on doing a podcast talking about new music from the band if that happens, and a possible gig. That's awesome.
So with
now we have to do it.
The up and coming musicians also, if a band or even like solo artists were interested in doing a show with you, how do they go about getting in touch with you?
With me? I guess, is my email on there?
I guess Featherborn.
Yeah, just contact me, message me on Instagram. I mean, I'm pretty easy to find through social media. I mean, I would hit somebody right back if they, DM me on Instagram or something like that.
Sounds awesome.
And I would love to do that. And I would love to. I've been feeling really good with vocally, so I'm trying to, I'm in like this recording mode, man. So I don't know if anybody's looking for a singer out there and you want some vocals.
I feel like this is the time. Like a lot of bands are kind of hibernating, and
especially after the pandemic, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the pandemic was worse than we think, man. That was gnarly. It's like I still try to think it was a 2 year. Wait a minute, and you're like, no, that was 5 years ago. I mean, it was just like so everybody's, that was a big hit everybody took, and so yeah, I'm gearing up, man. I'm ready to the studios where I really for some reason, and when you feel that, you gotta get to it. That means it's your body telling you, because I'm not going to. I don't know in 10 years how I'm going to sound vocally. Hope I sound okay, but so I'd like to get as much stuff on tape as I can.
Oh, you're gonna be going forever. Come on.
I'm trying, Allie. I'm just trying to get somewhere in this new form of music. It's so I feel like the music industry is. I can't unlock it, man. It's it's so. It was so nice when it was like you get a record label, they shop you, the radio. All you had to worry about was writing music and performing and singing or playing your guitar, or whatever you do. And now it's like, oh no, you gotta figure it all out.
Now, when you say radio, because a lot of people, I have this discussion with so many people, are you gearing more towards serious, or are you aiming more towards more of the mainstream radio stations?
The mainstream, right now doing this acoustic, I aim definitely towards serious.
Mm-hmm.
Specific channels, just definitely is that. And, right now I'm still in the radio mind for band, still trying to get my songs on local radio, not serious or anything like that. I'm open to all of it. I just don't know it that well. I don't know much about all that. So
half my friends are only about serious, and half of them are it's too expensive and overrated.
Yeah. Well, I guess as a musician, you're trying to get all of it. I'd like to be on the radio, serious, anything. Anybody don't play me.
That's crazy because whenever I look up Blush, the people that it comes up that suggest, it's always big name people. I'm like, okay, Danny, your suggestions are looking good.
I was excited with that song, and it's and I had a buddy of mine work. Well, I just released it. It was a pandemic album. I released Blush in 2019, and then I probably should have just released
too, don't you?
Yeah. I got to re-release that. Something happened. It'll be back out in a couple of months. For some reason, it got pulled. It's a long story.
Mm-hmm. Next Christmas.
Yeah. So Blush, yeah, and so I got Blush in a rom-com movie out here, and it was right to DVD movie. But as soon as I saw that, I was and a little movement on it, I was wow, that's where. And it's one of the main reasons I came out here. I'd like to try to get some of my music in some an independent film or anything. Because to me, especially independent films, because your music will grow with the movie. It's kind of like you're rolling the dice. But I
I
mean,
always Shazam. I will always Shazam things I hear in the car, on the
ex-
radio. Definitely
that's my point.
a lot
Exactly.
of me and my friends really like the college radio station out
Hmm.
in like
Mm-hmm.
Philly. Like they always play super interesting stuff and stuff to like, so my friends will always listen to that. I'm always Shazamming stuff on there. Um Definitely movies. Like there's a lot of like independent filmmakers in the tri-state area that do like movies on VHS, and will have like your local bands in it and stuff like
That's cool. I
that.
like
So
that.
I'm always like on that app, like, what is this? Tell me what it is. So definitely a good way to get your music out there.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's like, I'm not like trying to make it and get famous. I'm trying to just like make a living, you know what I mean? And then like, and the only, it's like I saw it happen. I've seen it. It's like, you could overnight, your song could blow
Yeah.
up through that, you know?
Yeah.
So, we're just doing every other musician's kind of doing, just trying to find a platform for your music in this new world. And but there's a lot of good things that go with that. Like, a kid could make a song in his room, a beautiful piece of music, and to the ability of knows the internet machine, whatever it's called, he could. There's so much more avenues to get your music out, just opposed to making it to that, getting a signed label. You know what I mean? Like your average person can really do something with it. So I find that good because there's so many bands that you don't hear. They're great. You know what I mean? Like think about so many bands that that nobody knows about and that are great bands. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like now, that's what I always, think the good part of the internet is like they have an avenue. They could at least get it somewhere to
Yeah.
somebody, As if before, like you'd have to sit there and sling your CD at every show. Now you can have access to the world through the internet. So that is the positive part of it, I think. I just got to figure it out.
Yeah, I love like looking at like who friends of mine are playing with, and then like I'll kind of look into them and then like take a listen to them. If I like them, like I'll look at who's suggested for them and kind of like, yeah, sometimes I get lost and I'll find like 6 like really good bands that like nobody around me has ever heard of, and I'm like, yeah, like this song, this song, this.
My Spotify algorithm knows me better than anybody else because that thing pops off.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, baby, you know me too well. It'll be like song after
See, I'm
song.
new with Spotify. Like, I just went on and liked all of my friends' bands and like my friends' songs and like that. I need to like spend some time and really like explore on there.
I agree. I don't know it that well. I mean, I've been trying to look at it a lot after releasing the album. Obviously, I was trying to track it and stuff like that. But it's just
a lot of the bands,
it's
when
interesting
they're
how that works.
now, they're doing the lyrics videos instead of doing like another music video. Like,
but I love doing music videos.
I've been seeing some crazy lyric videos and like them.
Really cool, like crazy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's cool. But I do. That was one of my favorite things to do. I love doing videos.
That's a fun video.
What's that?
That's a fun video. Now, I know there's probably like so many. Like, can you tell us any of the little hidden things in the video that?
Which one?
Of Blush.
Oh, Blush. Well, it's South Street. I wanted it to represent Philly, where I started, where I came from. It's just that song to me for some reason. It's really my first. Wake and Sing was my first written song, but Blush was like, I don't know. For some reason, it's just went that way, and I wanted to celebrate Philadelphia. Hidden gems, I guess. I don't know. They're all in there, I guess. JC Dobbs, where I started. TLA. I mean, half the stuff's gone. It was a bummer. I got Woolly Mammoth, it's called, but it used to be called Cheers, and it was my that's where I hung.
I love the Woolly Mammoth.
Do you know okay? So you speak. Do you remember?
Used to be
I'm aging myself a little bit. What's that?
It's the Tusk upstairs. or something like that. There was like
I don't. It's been so long. I did. The owner passed. He was a good friend of mine. That's why I put that in there. Woody. It was so terrible, the news of that. But it was my old watering hole. Even when it was still, it was just a corner.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember Abilene's across the street.
No.
Fat Tuesdays.
Yep.
Yep.
So right next to Fat Tuesdays was a place called Abilene's, and that was like one of the main places I played a lot.
Oh wow.
So that wasn't there, but I wanted to get like a lot of Philly in it, and definitely I wish I would have done it at night because I end it. Me and a girl or my whatever, we were walking, ending it, and it was South Street Bridge, but it was daytime, and I was like, damn, if that was lit up, it says South Street over it. I don't know, like that would be cool. So that was the one thing I would have switched. But I guess all the Easter eggs in it, I guess you would know. Ishka Bibbles is in it, which is one of the cheesesteak joints down there. I mean, all the things you see had some kind of meaning. The big pizza joint, Lorenzo's. Yeah. When I used to play Monday night at Pontiac Grill, the Elvis Experience, he would come in every Monday at the end of the night and he'd give the band a pizza. The owner, he's dead now, but yeah, Lorenzo.
Oh, you're winning if you got a pizza.
Ain't that cool? I was like, we did it.
Yeah.
Lorenzo himself came in and gave us a pizza. I mean, the pizza itself, I mean, the slices are like that.
Yeah. That's a good pizza. I mean, that will definitely.
So good.
It will ruin me if I leave a show and I'm eating that thing because they're open too late. So they're open late enough to where I'm just like, well, is this or Wawa? And then I'm like eating it and I'm just like dripping in grease. I'm like going.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I can't wait. I'll be home in a couple of weeks, and there's definitely certain places I gotta hit because I'm just such an East Coaster when it comes to food. It's so good there. I mean, it's great out here. It's just, what it is out here? It's very healthy. That's a very good thing. Like, I'm trying to put weight on for Christmas sake. It's like, but you're walking. I walk a lot. I live on a mountain, so it's like I'm constantly. But I love that. I love walking.
Yeah.
But as soon as I go home, it's usually I meet my buddy Nelson when I fly, and we got a chicken and Pete's. Got to get that out of the way.
You gotta get
love chicken and Pete.
Yes, and then Angelo's. Did you guys have it? What's that, Jess? Sorry.
He's always talking about chicken and pizza. I know Angela's, right?
On 9th Street.
Yep.
That's get better than that. That's my favorite pizza and cheesesteak.
I just I don't know, man. The food. We got hitters. We got hitters.
What was that mariachi place that you were telling about on another episode, Jesse? Isn't that right near there? They're right near you where they're up really late and they
is that on South Street you're talking?
No. She's talking about the fucking there's a Mexican place in that. Do you know where the South Philly Wawa is?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a Mexican place next to it, and they are open unjustifiably late. So it will be 1 a.m. on a Saturday, and they have mariachi bands playing in there. Then at 1 a.m, and I will be makeup smeared, I have been out all night at a show.
I love to film that whole scene.
And then I will
coming out in makeup.
And then I'll order my food. A mariachi band playing at 1 a.m. and I'm losing my mind. This is not real life. This is I've stepped into another dimension, and
I feel everybody should at least eat there once.
It is. If you are ever looking for a place to go that is open very late, next to on your way back or out of Philly, the Mexican place next to the Wawa, South Philly Wawa, is good. Their food is delicious, but
everything closes up in around here really early now, Danny.
Really?
Things are not.
Where you guys at? Up at Northeast Philly?
I'm Bucks County, but Jesse's right in Philly, but nothing's open. We'll get done an event. There's no diners. They all close. There's nothing.
Diners, that was like, I know, you know, it's funny.
24
That was
hours.
like,
Philly, they're not
diners were the
24
were the
hours.
best.
Yeah.
That was my go-to diner after partying all night. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's like
they close
everything's all messed up.
Some of them close at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, they do now. Even
It's
in the
so
city.
crazy.
The 24 hours, if you're looking for like late night food, Chinatown they're open late as hell. I go to the Bonchon, which is also very irresponsible.
Oh, you don't have to sell me on.
Where's Bonchon?
The
Wait,
Bonchon's a Korean sports bar, and they have like this really like delicious fried chicken that hurts my stomach, but I will eat it at like they're open too late. And now it's like, well, what do we? I guess I have.
Well, let's peel that back. Why is it hurting your stomach? What are they putting in it?
No, I have a sensitive.
Probably the oil, maybe. I don't know.
I have a sensitive little tummy, so
Aw.
I am eating this chicken at irresponsible hours of the night, and then I call it the Bonchon blues because I eat too much of it, and then I go home and shower my makeup off, and I'm in pain. Yeah,
She got the Bonchon blues. Bonchon blues. That's great.
Yeah.
There's your next song.
Yeah, there's my next song. I do that. Yeah, and the fucking Mexican place that has a mariachi guy in there, and I'm in another dimension. Those are two places that are open really late, and if not, I'm eating something disgusting from Wawa, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
God bless Wawa. What have we
I have
done
no
with
idea.
that?
I love Wawa.
It's funny because where I grew up in Frankfurt, we had a deli. And it's like I grew up with delis, man. Like that, my God. Like the best thing, like Sunday morning we come in, like me and my buddies after going out from a keg party the night before or something. And we have ginger ale, a turkey and cheese, and you're good, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hoagies were the best thing.
The hoagies. My favorites right now, I really like the turkey avocado from Cosme's, and I really like I love a good Primo hoagie too. Like
Primo, yeah, Primo's is great.
You know what? I've been thinking about them.
It's great. Wawa's hoagies are legit.
Yeah,
they're definitely legit. Like because you'll go to like some other places and they're horrible. Like Wawa, they're legit hoagies.
And their pizza's good now.
I know, but
Wawa pizza is like I had like low standards for it because
pizza, yeah.
But
I mean,
it's good.
No, it's good. I had it. You're right. The pizza's decent. That's definitely good.
I was like really happy with that. But well, we're getting to our time. So
I hope I was okay guest for y'all and answered some questions.
You absolutely were.
But
I love having you on because you're a talker. Like there's some people that come on
never
and
been called that
question and they they'll give you like a 2-word answer. Like I love people that just tell you.
Well, I mean, I just look at it like, especially if we're talking about like playing with the guys and stuff. Like I'm still like an excited little kid when I get on stage with Skunk Baxter or Barry from Boston or like I still like, how the hell did this happen? So I'm like a little kid talking about it. I love it. So I love talking about it. It's exciting.
Yeah, I can't even wait. And this year, like I was saying it all last year. Last year was a rough year, but this year.
Last year was, but sometimes you got to have rough years to have great years. So.
Exactly. This is the year, though. Positive.
This is the year. I like that. Well said, Allie. I'm gonna agree with you on that, and I'm gonna say it was here. This is the year. 2024, baby.
I'm going to reach out to the rest of the guys and see.
Yeah, reach out. And I don't think I got myself in trouble. I think, I said we're talking about it. Probably doing some music.
I don't feel like you threw too much out there.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think we threw too much out there. And I'm excited for it. I want it to happen. I want to get on stage with the guys. And I love to put out new music from that band because there were some really cool songs that we had. And I think that's what I'm going to do when I come home is like, either re-sing some of, I don't know. I got to get ears on it. And I guess we'll take it. So it's kind of like a one day at a time thing. But, I think it's, I would like it to happen. So whatever that means.
We would like to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do a show, have the guys on, it'll be great, man.
Definitely.
Well, thank you guys. So thank you, Ellie, for reaching out.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Nice to meet you.
Always.
I don't think I met you before, right?
Mm-mm.
No, just here. We met virtually. Wow.
But
well, I said hopefully I catch up with you guys in Philly.
I would love that.
Yeah, definitely hit us up when you're around, and maybe we can go and have some fun experiences that you can write a song about.
I like that. I could use some.
We'll be your inspiration.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a great evening, and hopefully see you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
See you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
He's so fun.
Amazing. Super, super fun. Lots of creative juices flowing, all different things going on, so many things in the works, and I'm excited to see everything that comes from it.
I love anyone that like literally pulls out their guitar and just starts like playing with
the ability to do that too. I could never have the confidence. I have confidence for like karaoke time, and that's it.
I got my one karaoke song. I love big butts. Other than that,
is that yours? I love that for you.
I remember the one time my friend talked me into doing "Move Your Body" by Nina Sky.
Wow.
And like I had heard on the radio a couple times, like I knew the general words, and I've always been kind of good with that, where like I can kind of like almost predict what's gonna come next. But man, that had so many words, and like I had been drinking a little bit. Like, yeah, never again. I stay in my safety zone now. What's your go-to song?
I have a couple go-to songs. Pony, Genuine. The one that's
my god,
let's do it. That's one of them. Sex and Candy. My pony. Yeah, I do. I
Sex and Candy. I just did a TikTok the other day with that.
Sex and Candy is another one. I will be like, all the white people get up here. We're doing Mr. Brightside. I do that.
Yeah, we need to go to a karaoke.
That sounds like fun. Definitely. I do all that good stuff. I love karaoke and I love to have fun times. So I'm always down for fun times. If you're friends with me, you know I love to be the center of attention 24/7. So
legends in our spare time.
Yeah.
But thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a blast.
Thanks for joining us.